You know, it was like a family enterprise when we started, and so I worked at the store, and my mother and father each had some type of interest in it as being the in-laws of the proprietor, and my Auntie Ethel worked at that store, and my mother worked at the store.
1957. 1956, I was there setting up the store on Grand River. The store was called Kent Drugs, by the way.
So you remember the beginning of Kent?
I remember the boxes being unwrapped because I sat at the counter. They told me, sit at the counter and don't move and be quiet and leave us alone.
And how old were you?
I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old.
He only made me cry once. And he was very good to me, always very nice, very kind, except this one time we had a little bit of a disagreement.
There was a swinging door in the pharmacy that was on the side facing the store, and that swinging door opened all day long, and I used to go back there all the time.
I think I was 17. Yeah, I was 17 or 18 when he set up that store.
Probably the worst thing I ever did was I snuck out. I went to McDonald's. I used to buy fish sandwiches and hide in the boxes, in the liquor boxes where we used to eat. And I used to hide, and then Al would go, "Where's Steven?"
And I loved working there because I had a white uniform and I felt like a nurse. I felt really pretty when I worked at the soda fountain. And I made tuna fish, egg salad sandwiches, and sundaes and sodas.
The fountain, as you entered the store from Grand River, was along the left side of the store towards the back. The pharmacy was straight in the back, and I think the liquor was sold up front on the left side of the store. I always remember that.
The day I really got into trouble was when Al happened to be sitting at the fountain, and I was serving a customer. And after the customer left, he said to me, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Sure." And he said to me, "Are you trying to make me go out of business?" I said, "No. Why, was I rude to that person?" "No, but let's think about the sandwich that you just served to that person."
Al asked me one weekend to come in and help him set up the store, and sure enough I did. I came in and I did the stock, but I wasn't allowed to touch any of the drugs.
Oh, the ice cream cooler, as you entered the store, was on the right-hand side. I remember that too. So I used to steal ice cream.
I was perfect. Al, I was perfect. I never did anything wrong.
This is the kind of sandwich that I would be proud to serve. My mother taught me to make a sandwich, a large sandwich. Here's the sandwich that I made. And here's how much tuna is in that sandwich. But Al thought he would go bankrupt if I continued making sandwiches like that. He wanted me to make a sandwich like this with that much tuna in it. Okay, so I went into the back after he talked to me, and I cried just a little bit, but not a lot. And then he had something to say also about my ice cream sundae.
It got to be the end of the day and we were ready to go home, and Al took his inventory and he came up short 50 tablets or 1 bottle of Demerol.
This is the kind of ice cream sundae I like to serve, filled all the way up, kind of like dripping over on the dish. But Al
asked me if I lost it, but I had nothing to do with it, Al. I had nothing to do with it. Al said, "Come on, we'll go out in the truck," which was full of all the garbage. Actually, it was just all the cartons that we had unpacked, and we went through every single carton. And sure enough, Al came up with the Demerol. And of all the things that I remember about that store, that was probably the thing that left the biggest imprint on me.
He would like the ice cream to come not to the top of it. So kind of like this. This was the waste, and that was going to cause him to lose a lot of money.
The worst thing I think I ever did, he saw me do and caught me and yelled at me, which was, there was a change artist that came in at one time, and he started with he gave me the 5, took it back, gave me the 20, took it back, And I remember Al coming running up front, slamming the door and saying, "Stop." And I said, "What did I do?" I thought he was accusing me of stealing.
Did he ever let you count pills and be in the back?
Never. Never. After setting up that thing and looking through every carton that was out in a big truck, never. I never went back there.
The only thing I ever remember Al doing is reading a prescription, taking out this little blue thing that had a clear flip cover on it. He'd spill the pills in there. He took this little, looked like a knife, and he'd sort out 5 pills at a time.
I worked at the store through high school and college. I didn't begin working for Al or Bill Bobrin or whoever until relatively late because I used to work at the Jewish Center. At the Jewish Center, I got $6 an hour, and Al was kind enough to pay me $1.05. So I did not think that that was a very good trade.
My most traumatic event of life was in that store. We were closing, I was vacuuming one night. It was around 9 o'clock at night. The store closed around 10. And the store had a front door and it had a side door out near the back of the store. And I remember in through the back door, a guy walks in about 9 o'clock as I'm vacuuming. And through the front door, another guy walks in, and they were 2 of the grubbiest looking guys. I'll never forget, they're wearing plaid shirts, and they both converge at the counter. Well, I'm vacuuming behind the counter, and the guy sticks his hand in his pocket, and he says, "Do you have an alarm here?" And I still tremble to this day thinking about this. I thought the guy was going to pull out a gun. So I said, "Yes." He said, "Is it in the drawer?" And I'm figuring, oh my God, do I tell him? Do I get killed? What do I do? So I answered him, I said, "Yes, there is an alarm in the drawer." And he said, "Can you show me?" Meanwhile, he's like this the whole time. So I open up the drawer, and he goes like this, and he pulls out his wallet, and he shows me a badge. It was a cop.
We used to, Al, and when Carol worked there, and I used to sit down at the fountain. Oh, my God. We would make a sundae. Your dad would make it out of chocolate ice cream with pineapple topping.